Up to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, Torrey Horton back to the end zone.
48-yard play. Guess who? Body up the middle, making another move to the outside. 15, 10, end zone again.
Keeps it. Nice move by Brown. He's got space. He's got 6. 35-yard touchdown for Byron Brown. A record-setting night for the South Florida quarterback.
So far, a little bit of a high snap. Genty right up the middle. Genty has room. Ashton Genty, give him 6.
Second and long. Lagar tries to fit it in. Rose, it does. Rose stays up. The show's off his 4-3 wheels. Incredible effort for Rose.
The G5 Hive. All G5, all the time.
Welcome to the G5 Hive Live. We're excited to bring you the G5 college football coverage you love each and every week. I am Luke, and I'm joined by my co-host, Justice. It's only taken all year long, but I've kind of figured out the finger pointing. I got it. We are only 3 subscribers away from 500 on YouTube, so wherever you are watching or listening to us, we would greatly appreciate you heading over to YouTube and hitting that subscribe button. The G5 Hive merchandise stores is now live. Link in the YouTube comments, as well as pinned to our X page in the bottom of the screen here. If you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button like I mentioned earlier. And if you're watching us on X, please give us a follow, a like, and a retweet. And if you're listening to us in podcast form, please rate and review. 5 stars only. We don't want anything less than a 5-star. Just like everything that we give you each and every week, 5 stars, nothing less.
All right. The last one we want to talk about is the Hendricks Award. If you're not familiar with the Hendricks Award, it's named after Ted Hendricks, and it goes to the best defensive end edge in college football. And unlike a lot of the other awards, this one does have a history of, giving it to lower level players. 2 years ago, it was an FCS guy that won. And so you look back in their history and they do. I think of all the awards, these major awards, the Hendricks probably does the best job. I feel like so many of these other awards base it on like, well, he's going to be the best guy in the NFL, or he's the, going to be the best NFL player. And that's not what the award is. These awards are for college football and what they've done on the college football field. And I would say, the Hendricks of all these awards has done the best job of rewarding that. And not just playing to, hey, this guy is going to be the #1 overall draft pick. But nonetheless, so the Hendricks Award, they have a final watch list. And I would venture to guess there's 12, 15 players on that list. I didn't want to put all 12, 15 players on this graphic. I used my own judgment to find who I thought maybe were the 6 best. And that's who is on this graphic. And so, we will, if you're watching us on Twitter, watching us on X, or YouTube, you feel free to play along. We've got them labeled A, B, C, D, E, F. Tell us who you think should win. Player A has 60 tackles, 37 stops. So stops are defined by 3rd and 4th down stops, where you're stopping the opposing offense on 3rd and 4th down. Player A has 60 tackles, 37 stops, 53 total pressures, 10 sacks, 20 tackles for loss, and a havoc rate of 16.9%. That player has that's the top havoc rate in college football. Player B has 80 tackles, 42 stops, 61 total pressures, 16.5 sacks, 21 tackles for loss, and a havoc rate of 14.2%. Player C has 84 tackles, 48 stops, 63 pressures, 17 sacks, 23 tackles for loss, 16.3% havoc rate. Player D has 43 tackles, 34 stops, 49 total pressure, 16 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, havoc rate of 14.1%. 58.6%. Player E, 60 tackles, 38 stops, 39 pressures, 12.5 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, 11.3% havoc rate. And finally, player F has 54 tackles, 35 stops, 49 pressures, 11 sacks, 19 tackles for loss, and a havoc rate of 15.9%. So if you're watching us, chime in the comments. Who do you think should win the award based on these stats for the best edge rusher, the best defensive end in college football? Luke, who would you pick? C. Yeah, to me, like, it kind of boils down to really, I think, two guys, probably B and C, right? I mean, they're kind of head and shoulders above everybody else when you look at all the stats.
Yep.
I mean, I would tell you 80 tackles from a defensive ends, that's pretty damn impressive. You don't see that very often. And the stats show that, right? Not that these other four guys aren't deserving, but just look at their tackles. Like,
it's like, it's like C, I'm like 84 tackles. You've got the most tackles of the group, the most stops for the group, the most sacks, the most tackle for losses, the second best havoc rate. So it's like you're just doing a lot of your work behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or at least
all right. Yeah. I will say two of these players on this list are G5. The rest are P4. So without further ado, I will reveal who each player is. Player A, Abdul Carter, Penn State. Player B, Donovan Ezeruoku, Boston College. Player C, Mike Green from Marshall. Player D, Antoine Powell-Ryland, Virginia Tech. Player E, Trey White, San Diego State. And player F, TJ Parker from Clemson. To me, it comes down to between Donovan and Mike Green, and I give the nod to Mike Green. Like you said, he's either number one or number two in every category, every statistical category. From a defensive end standpoint, just a all-around impressive season. Someone that folks didn't know about before the year, right? Unless they watched us. We talked about Mike Green, I don't know, back in July, August, or I'm sorry, early July, late June. We talked about Mike Green. He was a breakout player for the Thundering Herd this year, and boy, did he break out, but he broke out in a big way. So just another reason to continue to listen to us in the offseason. We talk about guys like Mike Green that you folks may not know about. But, I think his resume, stands out above the rest. If you look at all defensive linemen in college football, he's number one in sacks, number one in stops, number one in tackles for loss. He is number two in havoc rate to Abdul Carter, who's number one, and then he's number two in total pressures. And I think the guy that's number one in total pressures is not a finalist for the award. He's got a lot of pressures, but the rest of his stats aren't that great. So yeah, Mike Green at Marshall, and this, again, I think he deserves it. And the Hendricks has done a great job in years past of truly, finding some guys that aren't necessarily well known or in the public eye, and they've done a good job of recognizing the best defensive end in the past. And hoping this year is no different, and that we get to see Mike Green raise that trophy. I believe it's the 15th when they're doing all those awards. Is that right? I think, Luke, December 15th. We've talked about it a couple times, but I think it's December 15th when all those awards will get announced. So, Mike Green for the Hendricks.
All right. A little bit shorter of a show for us this week. Thank you all for tuning in all year long. But come back and join us next week as we discuss what happened in that Army-Navy game and the salutes to Veteran Bowl, as well as look forward to the next set of G5 Bowl games. And as always, we bring you up to date on all the latest news and happenings in the world of G5 college football. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe button. We are 3 away from 500. Help us get to 500. If you're watching us on X, please give us a retweet, a like, and a follow. And if you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, please subscribe. Leave those 5-star ratings and reviews. Thank you all for your support. Until next time, we are the G5 Hive.